Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Bill Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the entire basketball community. Tonight, you guys, this is it, man. We got Game 7 between the Denver Nuggets versus the LA Clippers. Now, as most of you guys know by now, and if you've been watching the series from the jump, the Clippers held a 3 games to 1 lead in the series. But now the Nuggets have rallied back to force a Game 7. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Kawhi Leonard's legacy is on the line in Game 7 tonight. All right, the team, the way that was constructed, is built to win a championship. All right. Now I had the Milwaukee Bucks winning the championship. Obviously, they got eliminated. And the second team I had was the LA Clippers because I felt that the combination of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and the talent around them was going to get it done, right? But right now, these Clippers have got me just very, very nervous because the last two halves in both games 5 and 6, they've just not showing up. They've allowed the Nuggets to just blitz them out of the gate. I mean, they were up by as many as 19 points in Game 6, and then you end up losing the game by 14. It's like every single time that the Clippers have always been had huge margins, they've always put their foot off the gas pedal in the second half, and they allowed teams to come back and even beat them. And that has been the constant thing that have been seen with this Clippers team. And it all falls down on Kawhi Leonard. Okay, now I heard some of what Two Raw TV was saying about him being the best player in the league. I still wouldn't go that far in my viewpoint. I still believe that Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA right now, even while he's still hurt. So, for the two-time Finals MVP and two-time NBA champion, Kawhi Leonard, this is it for him. This game and how people view him will largely be graded of how he performs tonight. Now, if he performs up to his capabilities and then some, and they still lose, then maybe I give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But it still doesn't excuse the 3-1 series lead that they gave away. But if he plays like crap, then he's going to get all the heat that he deserves. All right. But I get the feeling that tonight that Kawhi Leonard is going to make amends for the last two halves of both games 5 and 6 and really put on a performance of a lifetime, in my view. Okay. Now, Paul George is going to have to play great. All right. The big men, Marcus Morris, Montrezl Harrell, Zubac, they're going to have to do a really good job on Jokic. Okay. The backcourt, Paul George and Patrick Beverly, they need to lock in and key in on Jamal Murray. Okay. They need to do a good job of preventing Michael Porter Jr. to getting off as well. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, the Denver Nuggets are playing with house money because they know if they lose, they tell themselves, "Hey, had a great run. We came back from a 3-1 deficit against the Utah Jazz, and we almost pulled off the upset. We had a great run, and we're looking forward to the future." For the Clippers, the pressure's on them. This team, the way it was built to start the year, was built for championship aspirations, and it could all go away within 48 minutes if they don't get it done tonight. All right. Now, if the Clippers go on to lose Game 7, okay, this falls on Kawhi Leonard. All right. You're the two-time, like I said, you're the two-time Finals MVP. All right. This is your team. You wanted to be in Los Angeles. All right. After spending all them years in San Antonio and spending that year in Toronto and winning that championship for them. Okay. You wanted to be in LA. You wanted that spotlight. Well, the spotlight's on you. Now you have to deliver. There's no excuses now. All right. I've given Kawhi Leonard some soft criticism in the past, but not this time. If he does not perform in Game 7, and if he doesn't lead his team, and I'm not talking about just offensively scoring wise, I'm talking about leadership. I'm talking about lead by example. I'm talking about his defensive, intensity. Okay, all these things I'm going to be looking at with a huge microscope tonight. All right, if they go on to lose Game 7, okay, this falls on Kawhi, and this definitely falls on Doc Rivers. And last time I checked, historically, he's had two blown 3-1 leads. You remember going back to Orlando when he had Tracy McGrady and they were up 3 games to 1 against the Detroit Pistons, and they blew that deficit and went on to lose the series. 2015, remember against the Rockets, it was up by as many as 19 points, and they couldn't even buy a bucket in the fourth quarter. While Josh Smith and Corey Brewer went hot, while James Harden was sitting on that bench for the entire quarter, and you blew that lead with Lob City Clippers. So I believe that this team, the Clippers, this Clippers team presented now is better than Lob City. But I will not lie to you when I say that they're showing a bit of the same familiar tendencies that Lob City showed. It's like when they get up by a big margin, they put their foot off the gas pedal and they allow teams to come back. All right, this cannot be understated enough. Kawhi needs to show up in Game 7, and I'm going to mention another thing too. The one thing that I will be noticing tonight is how this game is going to be officiated. Now you know that as much as the NBA is a sport, it's also a business. You know that the NBA has been wanting to see a Clippers and Lakers Western Conference Finals matchup since the start of the season. And I know that a lot of the LeBron fanboys, they don't want to see that happening because they know that the Clippers provide a lot more problems than any other team in the NBA. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised if the officiating of that game is a little bit one-sided on the Clippers' part. Now, I don't expect it to be like what it was back in 2002 with the Kings and the Lakers in Game 6. That was one of the most worst officiated games of all time. I mean, that was just a pure mockery to the viewers, to basketball purists, and basically to fans and reporters who pretty much watched that game from start to finish and saw how egregiously horrible the calls were in 2002. It was beyond ridiculous. But what you notice in today's NBA is they're not as egregious as it was back in the Stern era, but they always find slick and probably inner secret ways to try to manipulate calls in to another team's favor. Okay, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of the calls go against the Nuggets. I'm talking about if Jokic gets into early foul trouble, if Millsap gets into early foul trouble, if Jamal Murray's not able to use his supreme ball handling skills and he gets some traveling violations. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case, but I don't think I don't believe it's not going to be as front and center and it's just blatantly ridiculous as it was back in '02. Now I don't believe that to be the case. But despite all of that, there's no excuses for Kawhi Leonard tonight. Absolutely none. This is all on Kawhi Leonard. You're the face of the team. You're the two-time NBA champion, two-time Finals MVP. Okay, everything that you wanted to be in Los Angeles. You wanted to be the main guy in LA. This is your opportunity to pull through. If you don't get this gun in Game 7, this is going to be one of the biggest hits against you on your legacy. All right. No, I cannot put Kawhi Leonard above Jordan or Kobe if he don't win this game tonight. All right. I can't put him in that conversation. All right. Yes, you got 2 championships. Okay. But we have not seen you in adversity before. And this is the first time we are actually going to see him go through adversity like this. And we're going to see if he has that other switch to find something within himself to basically put on a historical performance of the ages. Okay, but it's not going to just be on Paul George. I'm sorry, on Kawhi. Paul George has got to step up. All right, the rest of his team has got to step up. They just got to win both halves. If they can put on dominant first halves, they can eat. They can basically go into the locker room, put their foot on the gas pedal, and not give the Nuggets any chance to come back. Listen, this Nuggets team, they're deep, they're young, they're hungry, and they're dangerous. And they know that they've been through adversity. They've been through a 3-1 deficit against the Utah Jazz with Donovan Mitchell scoring out of his mind and was able to squeak by a low-scoring Game 7 to win it. So the Nuggets know how to handle this kind of stage. While the Clippers right now have had to basically go through too much inconsistencies against both the Mavericks and against Denver. And so is all on Kawhi tonight. I can talk about all the strategy in the world. I can talk about what both of these teams need to adjust and things of that sort, but it doesn't matter. It's all about the stars showing up to the forefront. And Kawhi is the star of stars in this series. He has to show up and he has to put on a performance to put his team to the Western Conference Finals. LeBron is waiting right now. His team is resting. They're watching this series with a huge microscope because they know they got to face one of them teams. All right. You know that you're going to face against a well rested Lakers team. So you know that if you don't get this done, it's really gonna indict against uh Kawhi Leonard's legacy, and I can't deny that. As much as I crap on LeBron James, every player gets the same heat, and that includes Kawhi. They better show up and they better win Game 7. And I will be back later on for my post game review of the Eastern Conference Finals and on this game tonight, you guys. So enjoy the games there, you guys, and it's all on Kawhi. Do or die. Game 7.